So today we're talking about gamification for the next 45 minutes or so. It is my great pleasure to have Colin and Marigo with me. It's a fascinating topic. It's an interesting topic. Before we kind of get going, in 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you if you've got any questions that you want to get out of this session. So just to kind of kick us off with, hands up if you've heard of the concept of gamification before coming in today. Brilliant, that's pretty cool. Hands up if you've got a pretty good idea of what gamification is. Cool, brilliant. And hands up if anyone is practically or tangibly in some way, shape, or form using gamification in their role or job. Got one. Cool, so that's where there's a gap between perhaps understanding it, knowing what it is, and actually making it work, making it happen. Okay, cool. So this is who you've got on the panel today. Do you guys want to give us just 30 seconds on what you do in your background and gamification and what your relationship to it is?
Yeah. I'll kick off. So I'm Colin, I'm from Third Sense. We position ourselves as a play agency. We've been around for about 10 years. We've always been making games as a marketing tool for brands and always felt we had a foot in both camps of understanding what businesses need and how to make and design games. And so for us, when the term gamification started to come around about 3 or 4 years ago, we kind of realized that we were already doing quite a lot of that and have really started to get more and more involved with it. And we now have several projects under our belt and have some interesting results because of that. So that's what we do.
Great. I'm Marigo. I'm a strategy consultant specialising in the innovation space. My company is GEElab. I'm doing my PhD research in this space, just getting just make sure that we've got sort of a nice sort of solid base, a knowledge base for all the gamification strategies that we're developing. So it's not just sort of the points, badges, leaderboard stuff. It's actually a lot more meaningful, engaging strategies.
Cool. PBLs we'll totally know how to get to. And for those who don't know, I'm Chris Stephenson. I work at PhD, and the reason why we're involved in this session specifically is because we've recently gamified, as an agency, our entire planning process. So let's get straight into it. So before we get going, questions from the floor. Any questions that anybody wants to particularly get out of this session? Any questions that you've got about gamification coming into the session? It's very early to ask me a question, I know, but there's points on the table. Right, brilliant.
How do we monetize it?
Oh, sorry, just 30 seconds. Brilliant.
How do we monetize gamification for individual client campaigns and individual client strategies?
Cool,
Okay.
so monetization and revenue generation from that.
I can definitely answer that, and I'll attempt to do that as we go
Cool,
through. Yeah.
brilliant. Cool, we'll finish the questions first. Any other, before I watch the video, any other questions you want to get out of it? There's one at the back, right there. Yeah, and then we'll come down to one at the front here.
Yeah, hi Chris, Rob
Hey.
from X or Y Decisions. Gamification, I'm thinking games on my mobile to be simple are very addictive. I remember almost walking into a lamppost once because I was playing with words with friends too much. So I want to know about the downside from a psychological perspective about getting people addicted to games.
Yep.
That worries me.
Cool, absolutely. Great, we'll get onto that. Absolutely. Yeah, one there.
So my question would be, does gamification or the application of it create better results or just more results of stuff?
Okay.
Cool. So is it something which makes something more efficient or makes something better rather than an end in itself? Cool. Brilliant. Cool. Any last things anybody wants to get out of the session? We'll come on to more. Yeah.
I just want to know how I'm going to level up or get a badge by the end of the session. Like, what can I be doing to participate in this in a more full way?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, you just unlocked best first question badge.
Thank
So
you.
well done.
All right. That felt great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you did. Totally did. Brilliant. Well done. Good job. Brilliant. And round of applause, intrinsic motivation. Right, let's watch a quick video. So yeah, just some brief context in terms of why we're involved in this session. That is our operating system, as we call it. Everything you do in our agency, you now get points for. Every single action you take, every plan you make, every audience definition, every role of comms developed, every idea developed, you get what we call pings for, and we've now got a global leaderboard for that. So we can touch on that, and that's why we're involved. There was someone poised. It was a rolling train, that question. It got started, and that was it. It was kind of going. There was a question about to be asked, as it did.
Obviously, we're going to be looking at gamification for advertising and generating revenue, but I just wanted to see if we could touch on its role within content and using gamification to keep people engaged and rolling with content.
Cool. Cool. Perfect. One more. Yeah.
Half a question. Microphone.
How you could use gamification in solving crime. So if you can galvanize a community to facilitate the solving of a crime.
Cool.
Thanks for the easy question.
Well, given the police do it, and obviously the situations, social situations where everyone is filming a crime, and if you can enable everyone to engage and facilitate the solving of that crime, how could that be incorporated safely?
Yeah, it's a great. Also, I was saying that taking Crime Stoppers and thinking about, is there a National Crime Stoppers game, which kind of gets people involved in.
Well, I guess how you can enable the wider community to facilitate in that process.
Cool. Perfect. You've got 31 minutes and 29 seconds to crack that one, and we'll come back to that one. Yeah, brilliant. Awesome. So let's start at the beginning. Guys, what is gamification?
Oh, well, I'll kick off that. So in my opinion, gamification is about taking anything which is not a game and making it more game-like. And it's a very broad definition, and I think it's a very broad area. I find there's still a lot of confusion. We talk to a lot of agencies and a lot of brands who think that it is doing a game, and for me it's absolutely not in itself. But what that translates to is about using the same tools that game designer uses in a non-game environment to motivate people to do things without paying them real money or tangible rewards, rewarding them in other ways.
And Marigo, in that definition, is the non-game environment an important bit?
I think for a new field like gamification, it's what differentiates it between sort of game development for entertainment and using the principles of design and applying it to a business setting or a health setting or a community developing setting. I think that's what sort of differentiates the two. I mean, some gamification strategies do include the development of a game in conjunction with a lot of other strategies as well. But it's the non-game environment that sort of basically signifies that this is a design technique and a design framework that's been taken and applied in another discipline.